Hi, DJ.
Hi, hi, Rosie. How are you?
Uh, I mean, like my Maslow's hierarchy of needs is met personally, but
Yeah,
emotionally and mentally, I'm fucking a mess. And I think that that's reasonable if you
have a
care.
heart or or a soul. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, I didn't grab any tissues and I'm already tearing up. Oh,
yeah.
God. I'll have to use my shirt. That's fine. But how are you, DJ? Honestly.
I'm not good. I'm having a hard time getting through to my daily life.
Hmm.
A really hard time. It's it's been, obviously, the Palestinian issue has been an issue for people for decades, almost my entire life. I know I've talked about this before, but like when I did a long stretch in the hole. I did 18 months in solitary because I fucked a motherfucker up real bad. And there were two in self defense, but in there were two uh, books that I had gotten while I was in there. One was called "We're All Doing Time," which was about meditation, and just it was from the Prison Ashram Project, and the other book that I had was called it was Jimmy Carter's Palestine, Peace Not Apartheid, and it I didn't really understand what was going on in that book. I read it. It was very beautiful. Very, I didn't really get it. It was, but I did understand for the most part what was going on over there. And it's crazy that you can learn something and you can know about it, and these flares come up, and you're like, oh yeah, oh that thing that's going on. I mean, right now there's genocides going on in uh
Sudan and Congo.
Sudan, the Congo.
Mhm.
There's so this isn't so the situation in Palestine isn't an isolated incident, but what it is a reflection of the old status quo being, and I'm sure America has the almost the same exact amount of not the same amount of involvement, but they're using, we're definitely in the arms business, uh so there's no doubt that we've got some hand in there, you know what I mean, but with this
Oh,
situation,
yeah. More than
I
some hand.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. But I think the thing with the Palestinian issue is how directly that we have been involved in this occupation, this illegal occupation, how tied into evangelicals. The evangelicals, as a matter of fact, Netanyahu, and that's a fascist regime. Netanyahu, the Mossad, they are a fascist regime. There's no doubt about it. They're racist, fascist, and they have been this entire time. Um, you know, uh, but they have come out and said that they don't even need America's money, that the evangelicals uh support them, as give them enough money. And I don't
I
think that
didn't hear that.
America,
When have they said that? I mean,
oh,
I
they
believe
said
you
it.
that they said that, but
Yeah, they said it plenty of times. As a matter of fact, you know here last week, they they actually went and met with a bunch of the head evangelicals in Texas. you know the
yeah, that makes
the
sense.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
to be frank, that makes perfect sense.
yeah, right in the middle of all this, took time out to go out there and make sure that they had their support, and sat and prayed with them and everything. It's all tied together. And I don't, and right now with the Speaker of the House being, um,
God. Uh-huh.
you know, I don't think Americans realize how tied together this is all, and how that this is going to reflect upon us. And it's dangerous, and it's terrible, and it scares me. So
Amen and
there's
hallelujah. Yeah. Yeah.
so I'm not doing well to
Nope.
answer your question.
Yeah, no, me either. But I mean, how can you be doing well? Like if you're actually paying attention and you are not a sociopath and you can feel empathy for other people, then how can you be doing well right now? I know there's a lot of people using a lot of coping mechanisms like distraction and
Uh-huh.
um, chemical substance abuse and all kinds of other anything in between. But yeah, I don't know how anybody can be like doing okay.
Yeah, I don't know how people are just turning it off. I don't understand how people. I've heard people say, "I just turn off the news," and I'm like, and that was the thing that had. This is something that happened to me, and I don't know if it's happened to you, but like, so I don't watch regular news. I watch like Democracy Now and Al Jazeera and stuff like that, and in Vantage Point stuff like that. That comes out, stuff that's not Western. Um, Watching the way that they've spun this thing has been incredible.
And
It's it's
disgusting.
it's really been disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
I I I that it has happened so fast. Everything happened so fast that, and it keeps on getting escalated. I like keep on looking for some hope or some reason in the in the in the media. Uh, it's not common,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
It's
know.
not. It's it's just getting worse and worse. I've become I've become uh emotionally involved in these reporters and people over, and like not being, now that the communication is gone, I keep on checking back. I have to keep on checking back to see if they're okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm emotionally involved in it. I um I,
And you mean
it's
that you're talking about Palestinian journalists and Palestinian
yeah,
reporters? Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
Palestinian, yes,
Mm-hmm.
on Instagram and things like this. Um, so I keep on going back. It's literally become my every fucking waking moment is being afraid for these people and being crushed and being and the things that the America is saying, Biden, the way that he has handled this has been so wrong. He
Totally
he
atrocious, but not surprising at all. Like this is exactly how he was going to handle this. I mean, he's garbage. He
he's be
is, yeah, a white supremacist. He is a fascist. Like, let's just because he has blue and a big D behind his name. Ugh, I'm gonna go on a
exactly.
tangent. Like people that think like, oh, he's a Democrat, that means he's good. Like, oh, bro,
And we
where
don't
have you
have any,
been?
like, where have you been? Like
God.
this is a fascist country, and it's being led by these geriatric fucking war profiteers. And there's no two ways about it. And we don't have any other choice. Like, there's no other choice. And I feel so helpless. And again, it's hard to continue living my everyday life without this being the center of it, you know? Are you having that?
Yep. Yeah. I can't. Uh, like I finally, I've been watching a lot of the journalists that you're talking about on TikTok. You know,
Yeah.
before Israel cut off their fucking internet
Yeah.
to commit their war crimes. You know,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
in the dark.
They're gassing
Um,
those people for sure.
yeah. So, yeah, I was following along, and there were times when I did have to turn it off, but I try to watch as much as I can because I feel like I need to at least bear witness to these people's lives and their deaths. But there are times when I finally have to, I have to turn this off and step away. And when I do that, I feel so guilty. Like, oh, I'm being a pussy. I'm turning it off because I can, like, oh, I'm so privileged and comfortable that I can put my phone down and go outside. And what
Yeah.
happens when they go outside in Gaza?
Yeah.
Like,
There are
um,
children starving They're starving. Their homes are bombed. They have nowhere to go. They say go south. They bomb the south. And in America, the U.S. voted against a humanitarian truce, and like the world, there's no, we've lost it. We've complete, like, I don't think that people understand how big of a deal that this is. We've there's China's not going to listen to us anymore. There's no one. This is on the world stage. We are 100%, 100% funding a genocide. We are committing some of the most horrific war crimes of the 21st century right now. It is horrifying. It is atrocious. We should be, I am so ashamed. I have never, and everyone says this is not ever going to end. You're not going to be able to end this. We need the diplomacy. But at this point, even fucking Trump, even fucking Trump has said that Netanyahu, they do not want a two-state solution. It was a fucking lie from the beginning. It was just a way. There's that they will not accept. And like, you look at it and you're watching it and you're asking yourself, like, on the world stage, how does this look? And it looks like whatever. It's basically, what I'm saying is that this is coming back on us 100%. There's no way that this isn't going, we aren't going to pay for this. It's just, it can't. It, and people are like, well, what about the Arab countries? And it's like, bro, they've been waiting for this. These people have been waiting for this, to put this on the world stage. They've been waiting. Like, this is part of the reason that this all happened, is because they want it televised. They want this. Like, those people with Hamas, like, you could say, like, I don't even understand how that works, but I do know this: saying that it's okay to bomb civilians because Hamas is the government is the fucking craziest shit. Like, I cannot believe the shit I'm hearing coming out of people's mouths.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what if January 6th had happened and then they just started bombing fucking Georgia because fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene lived there, and they just barricaded it off and just started fucking drop. They have dropped more bombs in that small area than they did the entire. Like, are are people even aware of this, or are they just tuning it out? I do not understand.
I don't know. I think there's multiple things happening. I think that some people are not aware of it because they still get their information from MSNBC and CNN, and they think that that's the good news. Those are the honest people, even though they're owned by the same multi-billionaires that own all the other news media.
Yeah,
Um,
y'all have to realize, 4 years ago, you could look this up. 4 years ago, a man, his name was Mark LeBlanc, I think his name was 4 years ago, was fired from CNN for saying free Palestine.
oh, is that the black guy?
Four, yeah, the black guy,
Yes,
yes.
yes, I saw that. I saw the clip of his interview, which was amazing and good
Yes,
for
it was
him.
amazing. It was
Yeah,
amazing.
try to look up the interview when he's oh, who is he talking to? I don't know. He's talking to someone from the Israeli government, I think. And yeah, Mark LeBlanc, is that what you said his name
I
was?
believe it is what his name
Yeah.
is. He works for
Yeah,
Al Jazeera now.
he holds this guy this he's interviewing this guy and holds his feet to the fire, and then he got fired for it.
He got fired for
He
it.
said nothing that was incorrect or inaccurate.
Nothing. Not
Mm-mm.
one thing.
No.
So, yes.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people are still getting their media. They still think MSNBC and CNN are telling the truth, and I think a lot of people they don't want to admit it to themselves. They definitely aren't going to say it out loud. They don't have the guts to say it out loud, but a lot of people won't admit it to themselves that they have um, They do see Palestinian people as less than. They do see them as animals and terrorists because they're
and have for
believing,
some time.
yeah, they're believing the narrative that's fed to them, which is what our country does. But there's a lot of people who do think that. I think that that is that's a big part of it. Even people who think that they don't think that, they do. There's at least a little part of them um, that is almost comforted in believing the lies that mainstream media is telling them about Palestinian
Sure.
people, because otherwise they do have to face the horror of the genocide that is actively um, taking place against the Palestinian people. And that's so horrific that I think a lot of people's brains just can't even allow them to accept that that's actually what's happening. So it's more comfortable to believe the lies, like, oh well, the Palestinian people are all terrorists and they're you know they don't even like gay people. That was one I heard that just I like almost jumped off my roof. Someone was like, I can't believe the pro-Palestinian crowd. Did you know that Palestinians hate gay people? Do you know how many Americans hate gay people? Like,
Like, dude,
go
shut
ahead,
the
wipe
fuck up.
us out
Yeah.
then. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just like
Yeah.
anybody's scrambling because now we do have documentation of the horrors that are taking place in real time, which is part of why they cut the internet off in
That's
Palestine.
100% why.
Um, and people just they can't process or accept that this is actually happening. So they're going to try to find any little reason to make that more comfortable for them to digest, which I
Right.
understand on a human level, but also be a fucking adult. It's 2023.
Yes.
Say it with your chest, at least to yourself. Like, come on. It's
I mean, yes. I have seen, like, I have friends who are being, that people are saying, like, you've got to, I don't blame anybody for not saying anything. I want to say that. I I I I I don't, because I understand that at this point, like, people are losing their jobs, they're being doxxed. And if you don't understand, like, how fucking serious that is for a person to fucking lose their fucking livelihood and then have to, like, it's fucked up. But they know the least that you can do is fill out a form. The least that you could do is anonymously call your representatives and fucking, leave a message on, what I'm saying, anonymously. Like, the fucking least you could do, is sign a petition. I mean, I don't know if I it's crazy. It's what's going on right now is crazy, and it's fascist, and that's the point that I really want to make today, is that this is tied in so closely with fascist authoritarianism, and coming here. It's coming here. Joe
it
Biden
is
is
here.
not. It is here. It is
Yeah.
here. It is here. Like, Joe Biden is not going to stop it. He's worthless. He has Things have gotten exponentially worse since he has been. He's not here to do anything progressive. He is here to uphold the status quo, and that is what I have been afraid of from day one. I was like, well, once they don't have an enemy here, they don't have a domestic enemy. Once they are able to silence MAGA, then, and dude, that whole thing is coming back to bite us all in the ass, to say, oh well, it's not censorship if the company says, if the company does it, the company can do what it wants to. Remember when we were all saying that about science and Trump and all this other shit? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
About them being throwed off X and throwed off Facebook and saying, well, we shouldn't allow these people to talk. Now it's biting us back in the ass, man. People are being fucking dopped. People are having their accounts taken off. People are being fucking, silenced in real time. And I would also like to say that I don't believe that there would be the amount of anti-Semitism out there if, in fact, they would stop doing this type of shit and using anti-Semitism against, like, using that word. Like, just because someone is anti-war doesn't mean they're anti-Semitic. And I think you made a great point. Like, people need to be deprogrammed. And I'm saying this as a motherfucker who was raised in the Presbyterian church, in the South. Like I don't understand what it's like to have your family be Holocaust survivors. I don't, but I do 100% understand what it's like to have like a regional bias, a fucking racist indoctrination, a fucking religious entitlement. I do understand what that's like, and I do understand that those are things that are not productive and need to be deprogrammed out of people. So to call someone using that anti-Semitism as like, dude, to be anti-war, like
Mm-hmm.
that, you're fucked up. Yeah, I think you said the right thing. Like you're fucked up. You're fucked up because anti-Semitism is disgusting, but it's growing. It's growing because you're not doing anything about it. You're saying, "Oh, all this Kanye was right memes." You know what I mean?
Oh, I
Well,
haven't seen that, but
prove him fucking wrong. Prove him wrong. I don't think he was right at all. I think it's fucking gross. I fucking think anti-Semitism is fucking disgusting, and it's a part of the whole fucking fascist trope. But don't think that there's anybody who's more anti-Semitic than fucking Netanyahu. Okay, so I don't think there's anybody who wants to silence Jewish voices more than Netanyahu and the Mossad. It's it's unbelievable. So if you're taking an anti-war stance to be anti-Semitic and you call it anti-Semitic, you are in fact breeding anti-Semitism. And these kids are getting black pilled as fuck. It's scary. It's scary. It's
yeah.
scary what's happening to this country right now. And the world is turning against us. And there's no two ways about it. We voted against a humanitarian truce. 140 countries, man. And they are looking at it. They are turning their backs on us. The UN, Amnesty Internet, no one. We have nothing. We are we are allowing ourselves to be drugged into fucking the total abyss by this fascist regime. And if you're going to be anti-fascist, you got to be anti-fascist across the board. You know,
Starts at home.
it starts at home.
Yeah. I don't know. You just said so many good things, and I had so many ideas, but they're all gone because I just can't even think straight. Like, um, I think so. Something that happened to me when you're talking about people who need deprogramming, and you talked about growing up in Presbyterian church.
Yeah,
It feels so shitty to even talk about myself right now. Like
I know.
I think okay, so I have wondered about people who when I'm like, you're an adult, say it with your chest, you're an adult. Like, I don't know. I really like, I focus on that. Like, there's so many grown ass people who allegedly their prefrontal cortex is finished developing, and like they still believe Biden and Netanyahu and the news. Like, they still believe it and think that those are the good guys. And I've thought about it, like why are there people that are still holding on to that when it's so obvious? And I'm going to talk about myself. I apologize, but this is, I don't know.
No, go ahead.
So I was born and raised in a cult. I was born and raised in the Mormon church, which is a gigantic corporate cult. And so I was programmed from birth to believe that Joseph Smith was a prophet and a martyr and a holy, like amazing prophet of God. And I did believe that for a long time. And then there came a time after my prefrontal cortex finished developing at age 25 when I started questioning and I started learning more. And I could tell that I was slowly like being deprogrammed, like doing it myself through YouTube, basically. but I know there was a part of me I can recognize that was like taking in all this information and being like, this is legitimate information, but I was still holding on with one finger to the belief system that I had because it was literally my salvation at that time. Like I thought that it was truly my eternal salvation. And I remember there came a time we were living in Kansas at the time with the military, and I was standing in the kitchen in this military house, and it is in a second was when my brain finally allowed me to accept, oh my God, Joseph Smith was a con man and a pedophile, and this is all fake, and I've been lied to all these years. Like it was a very specific moment when my brain allowed me to let go of the, I don't know, is it the cognitive dissonance, and fully accept all the information I had taken in about this cult and that I had been a member of it. And I had to lay down on the floor. I almost passed out. Like it was like a movie. Like, oh my God, this overwhelming information. My body shut down. I've never had that ever before or ever since. And so that was so. Then I burst into tears and had to work through a lot of stuff. Um, that was so life altering, belief altering. In that moment, I had to accept that everything I had believed was wrong and not true, and then accept like that my future was going to be much different. And I feel like there's because I've had that experience, which I would argue at the time was the most important belief system I had because it was literally what I thought was my eternal salvation. Um, Now it's so easy for me to see someone like Biden, and in an instant, I can be given some evidence and be like, oh, fuck this guy. Like I can change my mind. Like, oh, Obama, yay. Oh, no, Obama bad. Like it's very easy for me to do that because I had that one experience with basically deprogramming myself out of a cult. And I think that feeling where I said I almost passed out was so uncomfortable that there's a lot of adults that they can't do it or they won't let themselves do it. And it makes it harder for them to even make other or produce other new belief systems about their heroes, like you said. Like, I don't know if you said that on the recording or before when you were like, yeah, this is why they say like kill your heroes because
Yeah.
there's going to come a
Yeah.
time. But yeah, I was thinking about that. Like, oh, I think it's much easier for me to see evidence and change my mind very quickly, but it's because I had that experience where I had to change my mind out of a cult, literally, which was so uncomfortable. I don't even think I have the verbiage to describe it.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that. I didn't mean, I think I said Presbyterian, but I meant to say Pentecostal, by the way.
Oh, maybe you said, I think you did say Pentecostal. I said Presbyterian because there's a lot of Presbyterians up where I live.
Okay.
So yeah,
I might have
probably.
said it. Yeah. Again, like my head is like not, not great. Um, it's not great. Just sitting here thinking about yeah, I mean like yeah, I grew up with it like the did you guys do the whole like speaking in tongues and like all that shit, believing in like all that shit?
No, I mean, not speaking in tongues, but the Mormon church is like infamous for having these temples that have these temple ceremonies, where they do different symbols, which is like different handshakes and hand symbols, and they say some words. Um, I don't know. I never went through the temple like and did those handshake things. I got out before that, before I got to that point.
Nice.
I did look it up on YouTube though, so I can
Yeah.
trick God and get in if it is true. I do know the handshakes
Yeah.
thanks to
Yeah.
YouTube. Um, but yeah, no, it's a very, very. I mean, it is a cult. It's a corporate cult. Like I said, the Mormon Church is a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
I mean
It
all
is,
religion is at this point, right? I mean
yeah, yeah. But it's run by white supremacists. But I say,
it is
um,
white supremacy that is running all of this.
all of it.
The
Yeah.
all of it. It is white supremacy. There's no two ways about it. And that's what scares me for my Jewish friends. And I have a lot of them, and I've talked to a lot of them during this whole thing, and they're all and let's not act like I mean, there's two ways of thinking about this, about the atrocities that happened on October the 7th, and just being completely flat out honest about it. Number one, it well, they had warning about it. Like they could have stopped it. Um, and that's 100% true. 6 hours is bad. It's bad. It's a bad amount of time. It's telling. Let's say that. Let's say that.
Wait, explain what you mean by the 6 hours in case people don't know.
Oh, it took them 6 hours to respond to the massacre. The the, the and it was terrible. Now there are a lot of lies that came out about it. Obviously, there weren't 40 decapitated babies, and like a lot of the stuff online that they're showing, like people, it's and there's a lot of belief in the Israeli, in you well, because they have. Do you know what the Hannibal Directive is?
Mm.
Okay, so Israel has what is called the Hannibal Directive, where they don't, they don't, they'll kill hostages because they don't want the hostage to be a bargaining chip, because they've had to like let out 1,000 Palestinians out of jail before, um, and they so
So you said they
during
will kill hostages?
100% kill hostages. They don't know exactly how many people were murdered actually by Israeli tanks and stuff. I mean, there were some people held up into a in one of the kibbutz, and they just fired tanks randomly. And Israel has a long history of murdering innocent people. Let's just say that journalists, uh, farmers. Right now, the settlers are
Medics? Yeah.
are the settlers are killing farmers in places that they don't belong, and their children too. So they knew that this was going to happen. You know what I mean? They knew that this was going to happen. They Egypt told them that it was going to happen. They knew it was going to happen. Um, you could honestly say that what Hamas did, the Hamas rebels did, the Hamas terrorists, if you want to use that word, whatever kind of word you want to use that makes you feel better. Um, what they did was, you should never kill innocent people. It's fucking awful.
Atrocious. Yeah.
Huh?
Atrocious.
It's atrocious.
It's
It's
an
atrocious.
atrocity. Yeah.
It's an atrocity. It is. Um, but what is going on now is it's so much worse. See, it's so crazy because you can't really talk about it like without this is something that I was interested in talking to you about, because like it's so awful. It all is so awful. But what is going on right now takes so much of a precedence over what did happen. It's like, well, fuck, how do I even, because people are always with that whataboutisms, what about these people? And it's like, well, fuck, dude, yeah, but like, goddamn, like we didn't even have time to grieve. Like, we didn't have even, and this is bad on a PR standpoint, to be quite honest with you. Like, people not even having time to grieve before you started committing war crimes, cutting off their fucking, I don't know. It's hard for me in my mind to compare the two. Anyways, I just started rambling and started
Compare
trying to
what
fucking
to when you're talking about what about
October
is
the 7th to what's going on right now.
okay. Um, yep. Yeah. Well, yeah. So whataboutism is a very common like human trait. Because we're children inside. Um, but what I learned being a supervisor was, anytime if you have to, this is like just an example, anytime you have to have maybe a difficult conversation with one of your staff members about their behavior or performance or something like that. And a lot of times people say, well, you haven't even said anything to so and so about, and they do it too, like the whataboutism.
Yeah.
And that you say, I'm talking to you right now about you. Like we
Yeah.
are
Right.
handling this scenario right now.
Yes.
And so that's what I tell myself when I feel like I'm, you know, trying to do whataboutism, or when I hear other people like, oh, well, what about this and what about that? And what about whatever? Um, and I'm
Right.
like, yes, those can be a different conversation. We are talking right now about Israel committing war crimes to ethnically cleanse Palestinian people, which is what they've
Yeah.
been wanting to
Right.
do. And this
Right.
is their chance to do it.
Right. Which they've been very open about doing the entire time. And I guess that's that you're exactly right. Yes. That's it. I I I you can condemn both. But really at this point in time, when there are children starving, when they're starving people to death, and they're fucking dropping white phosphorus and they're bombing their house, and they don't have anywhere else to go, and what is going on right now. And again, I didn't even really want to talk so much about that, as I wanted to talk about the US's involvement about it, and how that this is all going to come back on us in such a huge way. I mean, uh this is in no way, shape, or form great for the stability of this nation. And I guess that's what I want to say. Like, if we don't do something soon as a nation to change the tide, again, it's so fucking scary to me to see the amount of, like, not, and I don't mean the anti-Semitism about like the rhetoric behind with the people saying, oh, you're anti-Semitic because you want a ceasefire. Like, that's, throw that away. If you're calling someone, like, again, you said it right, you're fucked up, that person is fucked up, and their opinion doesn't matter, straight up. um
They need
they're
intense
intense.
deprogramming.
Yeah, they do. um Especially when you're seeing Jewish Voices for Peace go out there and really put themselves on the line. Like, this is
Those
it,
are, yeah, brave people, very brave people.
brave, very brave people. And But yeah, I hate that what we're doing right now is totally radical, radicalizing a group of people, to not only has people like Kanye West, to agree with people like
You're cutting up,
Alex
DJ.
Jones, to agree with people like, I said that we are radicalizing a group of people to honestly be anti-Semitic, because they don't have the proper mental,
Mhm.
uh, uh, because what they're seeing is Israel murder and kill thousands upon thousands, and they're seeing the U.S. support this, and people like Andrew Tate, people like
Jeez.
Alex Jones,
Mhm. I forgot about that guy.
people like Kanye West. Yeah, people right now, these kids are being radicalized, and the anti-Semitism isn't, like, it's not anti-Semitic to be against war, but what these people are saying, it's bad. It's bad. It's bad.
It is.
And
And scary.
and it's only going to get worse. Yeah. So I know people are afraid. I can't imagine what it's like to have kids right now, because you've got to be like, well, I have to vote for Joe Biden because I can't let MAGA win. You know what I mean? And it's like, man, dude, there's not really any difference. One will say it out loud, but like, we have lost as a nation more rights within the last 4 years. Within the last 4 years, we have lost more of our rights than we have in the last fucking 40. Roe,
Oh,
the fucking, that's huge. And they're not doing anything about it. They're saying that they are, but they are obviously not doing about it anything about it. And there needs to be an awakening on whatever you want to call yourself. You want to call yourself the left, a liberal, uh, anything like that, and realize how dangerous Islamic people, for everyone. This is dangerous. This is we already, there's no way we're getting out of this at this point without there being some sort of retaliation against this country. Like, I don't see it. You know, you have the amount of protests and uprisings and the people. I don't see it, and I hope that there is. I hope that there's a way to save face, but I just want people in America to understand that not being truthful, that not being on the side of humanity, and we're not representing humanity right now. We're not justice, peace. We're not representing that. And globally, this is being seen. So tell me about Russia and Ukraine. Tell me about what China thinks about us right now. Think about what Russia thinks about us right now. Think about what the Middle East thinks about us right now. Think about that. And I tell you, we could have all the bombs in the fucking world. It's not gonna matter. If they cut us off, if when they start demanding that, that this is this is bad. This is bad.
yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't have anything like really hopeful or positive to talk about right now. I mean, I think that it's very obvious, when you say, oh, well, the United States right now on the world stage, we are not representing peace or humanitarian efforts at all, but we never have. That's never been what we've been about.
We've never have, but we have often had other people on our side. And right now, it's
Fair enough.
us. It's us in Israel, and that's it.
Yeah.
Uh, Chechnya, I think, and a couple Fiji, maybe. You know what I'm saying? A couple of people who really need us to just fucking, you know.
Mhm.
Then there's a lot of people abstaining, but more than not, 140 countries said that a humanitarian truce needed to be and a ceasefire needed to happen right now. And we voted against that for the most frivolous, stupid reasons. It was a joke. It was a joke. And the world is talking about it. This is how we're being seen right now on a world stage. And what about this PR? It's so crazy to see. I saw on because of us so interested in that mass shooter. Um,
Say that again. It got
so I
really
was like
choppy.
watching NBC for that, and it was. Oh, sorry. I was watching about the mass shooter on NBC, and then I guess they found him dead or whatever in a dumpster. Did you hear about that?
Which
Anyway,
one?
whatever.
In Maine?
The Yeah, in Maine.
Okay.
Yeah. So, which obviously, nothing's going to be done about that ever. We're just going to have to live with that. Now, that's just part of our lives, and we all have to accept that, and that's great. That's great. Um, so, uh, I saw the PR campaign that when the Netanyahu and his two other cabinet members said what they said. Did you see this? When they
Mm-mm.
spoke in English, God, dude, it's so crazy. So they spoke in English to the Western, they gave a Western and told the uh the Palestinian people that they needed to get out of the situation, right? But they don't have any communication in Palestine. There's nothing, and they don't speak English. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like they were literally just talking to the Western world, and everything that they said obviously was hideous. But I don't know who they think that they're fooling at this point. I don't know who we think that we're fooling at this point in the U.S. And I think that people should really, my cry to the American people is to please understand that this does affect you, and this affects you in a huge way. And if we get into another situation like we did the last time, it's
What do you mean the last
thousands.
time? What
Oh,
situation?
well, when we went into Iraq and Iran, which, by the way, it was Netanyahu. For those who don't know, look this up. It was Netanyahu who led the fucking cry about fucking uh, the false flag on the WMDs in Iraq, which led to our fucking illegal occupation there and
Mm-hmm.
our fucking murdering of fucking thousands of children and fucking people and fucking our own troops being fucking slaughtered. Yeah, dude. Fallujah, yeah. That was fucking Netanyahu and us together fucking doing war crimes, doing for no reason, killing innocent people for no reason. That was Netanyahu. He has done this a whole bunch. False flags on Iran. They're scared to death of Hezbollah, and they should. They should be. There's never gonna be peace in Israel, y'all. It's understand that. There's literally no way. There's absolute. It will never happen now. It will never happen. The path to democracy in a two-state solution is done, and they didn't ever want
They
it in
didn't
the
want it.
first place.
Yeah,
They
he
never
never wanted
wanted
it.
it in the first place. And again, the people who have said and spoke out on this, people like Trump spoke about it. Fucking, all these fucking crazy motherfuckers who are for real, for real fucking anti fucking it's insane, man. It's insane what is happening, and it is insane that these kids are getting absolutely black pilled right now, and the direction that they will end up being scares me to death. It scares me to death for my Jewish friends. It scares me to death for my Arabic friends. It scares me to death for my people who want to see a more progressive, human, fucking peaceful fucking world. Like this is bad. Like how many times do we have to, this is bad. We need change. We're never gonna get it. Oh my God.
Oh, TJ. I know. I mean, I want to make sure that we're clear that anybody listening, when we say they, like they never wanted a two-state solution, we're talking about the Israeli government. We're not talking about the people, like the
Yeah, sure.
citizens. Yeah, it's the
Right.
Israeli government, which
Oh, I
also,
feel so terrible.
please know that the Israeli government is not Judaism.
No,
Okay, please, can you use your brain cells to, there's a fly, um, to see that Judaism is not the Israeli government. But a lot of people have been conditioned to believe that on purpose, or to conflate the two. But it's not, which is why we can say no. Actually, we're not anti-Semitic when we say, "Hey, Israel's committing war crimes and a genocide." That's not anti-Semitic because Israel is not Judaism.
there was about to be one of the biggest anti-Netanyahu demonstrations because he's trying to rewrite for people who don't know. It is a fascist regime. They're rewriting changing up their Supreme Court. They're changing up their people didn't want this. No one wanted. No one in
No,
the majority of Israelis did not want this, and they definitely blame Netanyahu for this. Now that was what was so bad about uh that's why you gotta fucking just get so mad at fucking at the Hamas is that fucking dude that that that
they were
that the
close.
Israeli Yeah, you absolutely just ruined you ruined. And I don't know if it was, I don't know what chance that they had after that was going to happen or not. If they just felt like, I don't know, but it was whatever say you had in that, and whatever, like, you lost it. You time, um, a large majority of the Israeli people were really looking to change what the whole system, and you discredited so much of what you were fighting for. Hamas did, not the Palestinian people. I'm talking about their fucking government or like whatever. And you know,
And that's
I
only
don't
in
know.
Gaza for people who don't know.
That's yeah,
Like
right.
that's not the who's representing the people in the West Bank.
Right, exactly. And how about that? Why are they fucking killing children and shit? Why is the Israeli government going in there and killing those people? Why are the settlers going in there and murdering the olive farmers who have nothing to do with this? As a matter of fact, as far as the fucking Hamas government, nobody has fucking voted since 2006. It's been they've had, it's it's nuts. There's a skunk around. Sorry.
Uh, yeah, you mentioned that like the Israeli people are increasingly fed up with Netanyahu himself and wanting change, and that it feels like, oh my gosh, Hamas, why would you do this? Because one, it's an atrocity, but two, like, did you just, stifle this change that was trying to happen in Israel? But if we're being honest with ourselves, because Israel and the United States clearly are in it together, well, the people of the United States want change, and we're
Yes,
trying, but is
yes.
it happening?
No, it's not.
So, was Israel really that close to
Right. And I understand that point.
changing?
Yeah, I understand that point completely. Um, I understand that completely. That's understandable. I guess I think I truly think what Hamas did on October the 7th. I'm not trying to like two side this or anything, but I do think it was fucking terrible. I literally do feel like that was it was awful. A lot of people will say that it was fucking necessary. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I I feel like you put a whole bunch of people's lives in danger. There, I feel like it was awful. Uh, I I I knew that this would cause everyone knew that this would be the reaction from Netanyahu. Uh, God, dude, it's just such a fucking mess. But and again, I think my main point is like I can't figure all that out. There's no way that, and I can't even speak on that. I'm just really just emptying my heart out to you. I guess we're just talking of kind of like, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how we feel about that. But I think what it does matter is like how we feel about Americans, and like trying to suggest that as voters, if we have any power in this country, we have got to stop the government, our government, supporting genocides. And we have to make sure that that happens. We have to make sure that our voices are clear and heard, that we will not stand for the murder of innocent people. If you want to go get Hamas, get in those tunnels. Send special forces. Get in those tunnels. Don't be no pussy. You know what I mean? Don't be no pussy and try to fucking starve babies. You fucking, like, that's to collect. This is collective punishment. Obviously, this is not self-defense. Get the fuck over it. You know what I mean? Go in there, get in those tunnels, and pull them motherfuckers out. Give them, give the people in Palestine a way to get out. You know, to an honest way to get out because they haven't. They haven't. You know, and Egypt doesn't want them because they don't want 2.2 million fucking refugees. God, fuck, we don't. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't. Like, I mean, is that crazy? Is it crazy to say like and people are like, well, why don't the fucking Arab? This is 100 in America right now. It's 100%, and we are tied at the hip at this. Making the right decision, and we're incapable of. We're incapable of doing the right thing.
Well, it depends on who you're asking what the right thing is, because clearly what you think the right thing is to save human lives and to promote and save human rights. That
Yes.
is the right thing, but that's not what our government wants. That's not what the
No.
Israeli government wants.
No.
So you're right. Yeah, they do need to do special forces to go in and actually get Hamas, but that would be if their goal was to stop Hamas. That's not what their
Yes.
goal is. Their goal is to um, commit genocide against people who are in the world's largest concentration camp,
Yes.
which is the Gaza Strip.
Yep.
That's what their goal is, and they're doing it. And Biden is fucking mainlining Aricept and Nemenda and going out and upholding his white supremacy that he always has.
Yes, it is withholding white supremacy. This is white supremacy, y'all. There's no two ways about it. This is the actions of white supremacy. This is and I cannot express it to the listeners right now again how serious this is on the world stage. Just take the time, watch Democracy Now. Listen to these human rights people. Listen to the UN human rights people. Listen to Amnesty International when they talk and when they talk about and they talk about the US's uh how we have helped in this, our how we're complicit in this. Listen to this because this is coming back on us. We have no we there we are not a leader of the free world anymore. That's gone. I'm telling y'all don't believe that. Y'all believe just because we have money and bombs that means that, no. We are looked at they already Israel is seen, their government is seen as a fascist and terrorist. They're calling them out. Everyone's calling them out. Human rights leaders around the world are calling them out as the ones who started this. Just like stop watching Western media, listen to Al Jazeera. Oh my God, there's so
You got a little choppy.
I
How's our
mean, that
connection?
motherfucker was close. Sorry, I'm getting there's a skunk close. Huh?
Oh,
Huh?
my internet's unstable, so you got a
Okay,
little
okay,
choppy.
okay. There's a skunk close to me and I can smell it.
Oh,
And yeah,
you need to
yeah.
go.
No, I don't. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily need to go, but I definitely know there's a skunk close. But I just, I wanna uh put it out there to people that this does. You want to turn it off. You want to you want to say that this doesn't involve us, but it does. We're very much involved in this. We're involved in this on the world stage. We're
Uh-oh.
involved.
DJ, you're freezing.
Even if you don't care about the people in Gaza, uh, okay,
Okay, try again. Even if you don't care about the people in Gaza, then
you should care about the future of America because this is bad. This is bad for us. This is bad for our future.
it is. But I mean, is this also like, to me, this very clearly is the death rattle of end stage capitalism. Like this makes
It
sense
is.
that this
It
is the death
is.
rattle, you
It
know.
is.
Um, and it just pisses me off that we have to be here to experience that, because a bunch of sociopaths and psychopaths, you know, lie, cheat, and steal their way to the top and kill people without thinking twice about it to get to the top. And now they ruined it for most of us. Um, and that, the ways that I can think that we can fight back is, to become self-sufficient
Yes.
and to
Here we go. Yes.
organize our labor and
Yes.
to organize our boycotting and,
Yes.
shoplifting.
Yes.
That's about
Yes.
what I can do.
Crime.
Yeah.
Crime. Learn to do crime, guys.
Especially if you look like me.
Yeah.
Come on. Oh, look at that nice soccer mom. She's not up
Yeah.
to anything. She just seems like a nice mom who's kind of tired.
You do a course in thievery and criming,
Yeah.
shoplifting. No, well, I appreciate you.
You too, DJ.
I appreciate this conversation. Um, we didn't
Listeners,
cry. Yeah.
I did. I cried a
Well,
couple times, but I was trying to hold it in. You know how when you go like this and you make your tears go back in your tear ducts, like you tilt
yeah.
your head up.
Yeah.
Um, yes, I mean, listeners, this is not a funny podcast today. We didn't talk, well, in a roundabout way, we did talk about life and death. Um, but this is something that's really, really important, clearly, to both DJ and I. And sorry that we can't just be like the court jesters today and try to make people feel better about things. But it's not a time for that, I don't think.
It's
I
not a
think
time for that.
it's truly a time for some real self-reflection,
Yes.
some real just deconstructing of, the belief systems that you have, and about other countries, about other religions, about our own country and the people who are running it, which are the same people who are running the media that you're consuming. And you think that they're going to tell you the truth on the news because they're a good person, because it's the right thing to do. Come on.
Come
Come
on,
on.
man.
Come on. Like, so free Palestine.
Save
Yeah.
Palestine.
Oh,
Just
God.
save them.
Yeah. Um, I have nothing else.
I don't either.
Maybe next week's episode we'll talk about the death rattle, since I mentioned the death rattle of capitalism. I
Yes,
can
let's
talk
do
to you
that.
about the human
Yeah.
death rattle.
I would
Um,
love to hear about it.
yeah, yeah, it's very interesting, and I have a lot that I can say about that. But let's talk about that next week.
Yeah, for sure.
So, all right,
Much
everyone.
love and peace.
Yeah, God, we're on Instagram, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, take
All
care.
right. You too.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.